feature event this evening. It is the Premiership fixture. It is in Dingwall. The teams are just coming out. It is Ross County against Hibs in the company of Stuart Kettlewell and Rob McLean.
Cheers, Kenny. A busy old night then with the transfer window coming to a close. Well, traditionally it slams shut in a few hours' time. And as you've been hearing, lots going on, always late deals to be done. Some of it even kicks on into tomorrow morning sometimes, as long as the deal is done before the appropriate time deadline. And by the time the transfer window does close, will it be a point apiece? Will Hibs make it two in the bench? Will Ross County make it back-to-back wins? All those possibilities are open for business here on the back of the pair of them on Saturday, having won between them 9-0. And if you'd had a small investment on that at the weekend, you would have been rubbing your hands off the back of the outcome. 6-0 for Hibs against Aberdeen, 3-0 here for Ross County against Kilmarnock, both badly needed results. And what that means, of course, for Hibs firstly tonight is that a win would take them above Livingston and into fourth place in the Premiership. And as for Ross County, it would get them out of that 20 mark, which is shared by 4 teams currently. They got off the bottom at the weekend. They could take another step forward. With even a draw tonight, it would get them out of joint bottom position. But they might just have a fancy for all 3 points, having added firepower to their team. And of course, that was so badly needed. So just about all set to go here in Dingwall. Graham Granger is the referee. He's having a check around the pitch, checking his watch, and just about ready to go here. 500 Hibs fans have made the trip here through what looked like it might have been turning into a blizzard at times on the road up. But conditions here really good. Playing surface looks pretty decent, and not really too much of a breeze either, as a Ross County clearance cannons off the head of Joe Newell of Hibs with just seconds gone. And if he's a bit dazed, I wouldn't be surprised that came at him at some rate of knots, Stuart.
Yeah, it did, Rob. I mean, it's the first action of the game. Hibs go forward, and it's Keith Watson that looks to clear it, and it ricochets at some speed right off the face of Joe Newell. It seems as if he's kind of shaking it off, but maybe just keep eyes on him over the next few minutes with that type of impact.
Throwing down the line from Jack Baldwin, headed away by Paul Hanlon for Hibs. And it's Baldwin again with an up and under. Ross County with the Jordan White and Eamon Brophy strike pairing. Jan Danda just in behind them. And even on paper, it looks a good partnership, that one, between White and Brophy. And Eamon Brophy just doing what he does, doing what it says on the tin, really, and getting off the mark at the weekend. He brings real quality to this Ross County team. And of course, they have Josh Stones on the bench as well, the 19-year-old on loan from Wigan. So suddenly, from not looking to have too much up top at all, they've got choices, they've got options, and it's what they tend to do, as Stuart was saying, in the transfer window. Hibs looking to make some progress down the right side with Chris Cadden. His cross flies behind Ross Laidlaw's goal. It is traditionally that time of year when Roy McGregor, I don't think it's the checkbook these days, but he certainly puts his hand in his pocket and makes a difference to the team, and he had to, didn't he, Stuart?
Yeah, I think, listen, I think if Ross County have aspirations to be a Premier League side, then I think that they had to go pretty hard, Rob, on those striker options. They've done that. There's some serious quality in there. I think that will come at a big cost with the guys like Simon Murray. We heard Owen Coyle talking about a big offer comes in for him. Eamon Brophy, to get in an international player, then you're going to invest hard. But it is the one aspect of the team that's been lacking for Ross County. But as I say, Jordan White's done a reasonable job, but I think you've now got a real good foil in guys like Simon Murray, Eamon Brophy, and I think they can certainly strike up a good partnership in that area.
Yeah, Simon Murray's on the bench. He's changed out of his Queen's Park tracksuit by now, swapped it for the Ross County version. I wonder if he'll be returning the Queen's Park one to Owen Coyle and Willie Hockey.
That question was posed up here in the gantry, Rob, wasn't it? Wondering whether he came over with it and whether it was handed back. But no, it's a crazy set of circumstances. But we know that that's what the transfer window can throw up. So another interesting one in there.
Simon Murray on the bench wouldn't be a great surprise if we see him at some stage. Will he add, I wonder, in the course of the evening to his 18 goals already this season in the Championship for Queen's Park? Of course, Queen's Park are the leaders and they're in action tonight, and anything happens in that game you will hear about it first right here. Inverness against Queen's Park, not too far away. Cove Rangers against Ayr United in Aberdeen, the two Championship games. Ross County won themselves a free kick down the left side, decent position, just about in line with the edge of the penalty box, maybe 5 yards in from the touchline on that side, and County carry plenty threat at a set piece. Their first venture into the Hibs penalty box. Danda swings in the free kick, glancing header, and then it was knocked off the line. I think it was Jack Baldwin who got the last touch for County on it, cleared off the line.
Yeah, there's a bit of ricochet, Rob, inside that 18-yard box, but what a wicked delivery it is initially from Jan Danda. As I say, he carries great quality, wonderful delivery in towards that 6-yard box, and it looked as if there was a few players in the mix as it rattles about inside the 6-yard box.
Yeah, it was glanced on at the near post. Here come Hibs though in response. Eli Yuon to the byline, tries to flip it back out and keep the attack alive. County get the ball clear, but Hibs have it again, looking to respond to the first really serious threat on goal. Switched across by Newell to Stevenson, into the middle for Nisbet, looking to work a 1-2 around the edge of the area. County stand firm. Tilson was there to help out defensively, and the ball in the end goes out on the halfway line.
Just looking at it, Rob, quite interesting to see how Hibs set up. Obviously with that one change, we know Kevin Nisbet will play directly through the middle, but a slight change in the wide areas. Aidan McGeady going over and trying his luck against George Harmon in the right hand side, and Ellie Ewan, as we know, plays at times from the left. So a little bit of change from them, but I still think they carry a major threat as they did on Saturday.
Hibs in their change strip, light green, all light green. Ross County in all dark blue. And 5 minutes gone in Dingwall, live on BBC Radio Scotland, the first of 6 Premiership games, all 12 teams involved over the next couple of nights. This is the only fixture in the top flight tonight, and both teams considerably lifted by what happened at the weekend.
Yeah, there is, and it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out tonight. You know, don't know how much of a false result it was, in a sense, not taking anything away from Hibs, but we know that Aberdeen were far from their best version. Ross County, on the other hand, it was that high pressure game against Kilmarnock where they came up trumps. So both teams managing to get the 9 goals, as you said, between them, and it'll just be interesting to see if they have that same impact tonight.
That win certainly has had a big impact on Hibs' goal difference. Suddenly they're at -2. Their goal difference has been pretty horrendous, really, this season, in line with some of the results. But it's amazing what a 6-0 does, and now they've got the best goal difference outside the top 3, and the chance, of course, to go 4th tonight. County have a throw in left-hand side, midway into Hibs' territory. Looks like Jack Baldwin's going to line up for a long throw here, and plenty for him to aim at. Jack Baldwin's throw is en route to the Hibs penalty box, helped on at the near post, and it's another well-worked set play from Ross County from the throw-in. That time again it was the glancing header on, and this time it was Alex Iacovitti who heads wide.
Quite incredible, Rob. It's the 3 centre-backs that are involved. It's Jack Baldwin with a long throw, Keith Watson flicks it on at the front post area, and it's Alex Iacovitti, who's got a reasonable goal-scoring record for a centre-back, that just sort of goes in. Maybe could have done better. There wasn't a lot of pace on the ball, but just hits the side net with it. First real opportunity for Ross County.
And Hibs caught out twice with the ball into the box. Firstly the free kick, then the long throw, and I think Ross County will be feeling pretty sore that they haven't taken at least one of those chances. Really good opportunities, but a great ball forward from Lewis Stevenson, and it was misjudged by Kevin Nisbet. It was dropping, bouncing around the edge of the area. Had he got a touch to control it, it would have been a real opportunity to fire Hibs in front.
Yeah, it is, and a real indication for both sides that they're looking to get the ball forward as quick as they can. I don't think we'll see much overplaying in the central midfield area, even though there's decent quality in there. I think you can see early stages, both sides trying to activate the forward players and see if they can get midfield support to it.
Well, you would sense in the opening minutes that we're in for some goal action tonight, with a couple of chances early doors for the home team, and that one, and the minute the ball bounced away from him, Nisbet just held up his left hand back towards Lewis Stevenson to say, sorry mate, he misjudged that one, because he really should have done better. It was a lovely curling, dipping ball which troubled Ross County at the back, and he's on hot form, Nisbet, and you expected him to be cashing in. Hibs very nearly, of course, cashed in on him this week with that £2.4 million deal to Millwall collapsing, and Sean Maloney and Wigan were involved, interested as well. As we heard from Lee Johnson pre-match, there's been quite a lot of interest swirling around Kevin Nisbet and Josh Campbell as well, who are currently Hibs' top goal scorers with 8 each.
I think Lee Johnson will be delighted he's got them on the pitch just now, Rob. It keeps him away from agents and prospective buyers for two quality players, two players that I think that in the second half of the season that Hibs really have to have in their group, if at all possible.
Ewan in possession, left-hand side for Hibs, McGeady on the right, Ewan on the left, Stevenson getting forward and linking with the Frenchman down the side nearest to us as well, playing right to left as we look in Dingwall in the main stand. The ball taking a nick off referee Graham Granger. Hibs were in possession at the time, so they have it. Jago moves it on. Looking to line up a shot was McGeady. It was blocked from 25 yards. The ball rolls back towards Stevenson, cuts in on the right foot, and his shot is duly blocked as well. The ball spins out towards the corner flag, and Conor Randall just slides in to make sure it's going nowhere dangerous. Out for the throw, Newell to McGeady, and Ewan into the box goes Joe Newell. Edge of the area, almost saw the chance for a right foot shot at goal there before the gap closed. Hibs probing at County, Campbell involved, Ewan shot blocked, still has it on the byline. Well, he controlled it with one boot and then sent it behind with the other one. It wasn't great, and it was a menacing moment, and Ross County breathe again.
Yeah, certainly the best attack so far that Hibs have had to offer, but Eli Ewan, he must be so frustrated, I think, for Lee Johnson at times. I've seen him in moments where he looks unplayable, but just there he has 2 bites at the cherry. The first one he takes a heavy touch into Keith Watson, and the second one he can secure the ball inside the penalty area, and it's that double ricochet, isn't it, and it goes behind for the goal kick. But certainly a player that carries threat. You'd just like to see it more consistent.
I think he's difficult to counter, Stuart, because he's not too sure what he's going to do next, so probably if you're up against him you've got no chance of anticipating.
Sometimes that's the most difficult one, Rob.
County in possession, 0-0 in Dingwall early on in this one and only Premiership match tonight. Forward it goes from Keith Watson down the right side, chested down by Hanlon. Newell into the central area, now out wide with Stevenson, caught late by Baldwin. Stevenson, but got his pass away to Josh Campbell in the middle of the pitch. He has options on the right side as Cadden, and he rolls it back to James Jago. Right across the back line again for Hibs to Stevenson, who's got some room to run into here. The veteran, inside him is Ewan, shaping for the shot, right-footed, then back onto the left, still has it, rolls it wide. Stevenson back for Newell, his cross blocked by Ross Callaghan. But as the ball ran free, it was Paul Hanlon who was first there, and it's Campbell who was the shot from just outside the box. 2 County players, Watson and Baldwin, both flinging themselves in front of that goal-bound effort. It was great defending, and it did the job because it blocked that shot from Campbell. Hibs hogging the ball at the moment. They have it out on the left-hand side with the Frenchman Ewan out with McGeady, quick feet, almost getting in each other's way. A couple of Hibs players, but it is McGeady looking to work half a yard to get the shot away. Again, it's great defending, and it was Baldwin again making sure that that shot wasn't going to hit the target. County get forward. He's on his own. Eamon Brophy, he's done really well to wriggle inside and get a shot away. Got away from Newell, and then his shot was blocked in the end, but did a really good job there because he was isolated.
He shows some great strength. It's Fish that he holds off initially. He managed to shrug off the centre back and roll into that right hand channel. Joe Newell does an excellent job just to recover and try and force him back, but initially that's what Eamon Brophy's going to bring to you. When he's fully fit, when he's full of confidence, he's going to get you up the park and he's going to bring other players into the game. So just from Ross County, Rob being on the back foot, that little spell of play just takes him back into Hibs' half of the pitch.
12.5 minutes gone in Dingwall. Ross County 0, Hibs 0. And George Harman in possession out on the left-hand side for the home team. Infield to Danda, the playmaker. Angles a lovely ball out towards Randall. His header into the box. And Hibs get it clear. Fish and Hamlin together in the middle of that defence. Anytime they've got the ball in the box so far, Ross County, they have looked very dangerous. Meantime, the ball is out just underneath us for the throw-in, which the skipper, Keith Watson, will take. And back it goes to Jack Baldwin. Across towards Alex Iacovitti. The County back three. And behind them is Ross Laidlaw. That's where the ball's gone. And Laidlaw's kick is curling out towards the right side. Headed infield by Randall. Collected by Jago on the half volley. Away again from Watson. Well, it's been played at a fair old tempo this game, and we haven't chances despite the fact it's goalless.
Yeah, it's a bit like a basketball game just now, isn't it? It's frantic, it's going end to end. Hibs have actually been able to bring their midfield three into the game, which I thought at times they may miss them out. Just looking at Jago in the middle of the park, he's broke up attacks and passed the ball simply. So yeah, it's been full throttle so far.
Ball given away by Jordan White. It was sloppy. Stevenson for Hibs swings one in, bouncing towards Yuan, heading left side, fires it across goal into the penalty box, and it eludes everyone and goes out for a throw-in on the far side. Maybe a little bit more composure required when he got into really good position.
Yeah, the exact same thing again from Eli Yuan. A lovely first touch when it's fizzed in, I think, from Stevenson as it was inside the box. Takes a lovely touch, Rob, with the inside of his right foot. He's just asking for a wee bit more composure on his stronger left side, just to pick out Nesbitt, who's kind of round about that penalty spot. But the first touch is great, just need the end product to come with.
Saturday was Ross County's first win in 9 games, and coincidentally their last win before that one was against Hibs at Easter Road. Can they win tonight against Hibs? Level pegging so far, best part of 15 minutes played. Forward goes Stevenson, linking up with Nesbitt out on the left hand side. Now Newell, and back with Lewis Stevenson. Newell again, and Yuan just keeping possession. Hibs, they've played some pretty nice football in the opening quarter of an hour. Stevenson again, left-hand side, decent cross ball in, diving header away by Tilson. Onto it is Yuan, he flicked it square, but it was intercepted, and it's Callaghan who drives it down the right-hand side for Brophy against Hanlon. And Paul Hanlon maybe got the break of the ball there. He was maybe a little bit fortunate, but managed to stop Brophy. And Hibs looked to turn defence again into attack, working it well out of defence. And Josh Campbell curls a pass across towards Cadden, who slipped initially, and that allows George Harman just to usher the ball out and accept the throw-in on halfway. Ross County 0, Hibs 0.
I'll tell you something, it's not went anywhere. It's went for a throw-in the halfway line, Rob, but that football from Hibs under pressure, serious pressure from Ross County. Hanlon swept it up initially. Fish was able to show composure again. Jago's involved, and that sequence of play just to get them out and away from pressure from that Ross County press was absolutely sensational from Hibs, as good as I've seen from them probably this season.
Ross County 0, Hibs 0 on BBC Radio Scotland. And we have all the transfer deadline news as well to go with it, brought you pre-match, and as it happens we'll bring it to you, as we will any scoring action in Aberdeen, Cove Rangers against Ayr United, and not far from here in Inverness, Cali Thistle against Queen's Park in the Championship. Goalless so far. But what do you think of the Peaky Blinders look for Lee Johnson tonight?
I don't think I would get away with it, Rob. Definitely don't. I don't think I've got that in my locker. Yeah, but interesting choice from Lee. He's always prone to a different jacket or a hat, isn't he? always looking to make a wee fashion statement.
He was talking about weather conditions, but actually it's not really too cold by Dingwall standards, and a pretty calm night as well in terms of overhead.
We're used to it being worse than this, aren't we, up in the north?
Exactly.
It's not too bad. It's settled down, the conditions are good, and as you can see, Hibs are settling into that little passage of play, being able to play through midfield.
Interesting pass back from Joe Newell to David Marshall, fair bit of height on it, bouncing awkwardly for a moment, and the clearance downfield is headed away by Keith Watson, and then Callaghan is caught by Newell, and Graham Granger says free kick, Ross County. The game just maybe settling down now after quite a few flurries of activity early on, and a couple of big chances for Ross County from which they could have done a whole lot better. Baldwin's effort cleared off the line, and then Iacovitti heading wide when you just wondered if it was going to nestle in the corner of the net.
Yeah, I think that will be one of the routes that Malky will look to for his side, Rob, as set play deliveries.
Down the side goes Randall. His cross is blocked by Lewis Stevenson. Well, he's knocking on about Lewis Stevenson, but the old batteries are still working well. He's been up and down that left side constantly.
He's been a brilliant outlet for them in the opening, 18-19 minutes of the game. He's getting beyond Johan, he's supporting them every opportunity, so yeah, he still looks fit, he still looks mobile down that left-hand side.
Newell to Cadden for Hibs. A lot to like about this game so far, still poised at 0-0, 18.5 minutes played, and the ball is with Hanlon. And it goes back to the captain, David Marshall. Will Fish receives it from the goalkeeper on loan from Manchester United, the 19-year-old. And wide of him on the right-hand side is Cadden. Played forward by Hibs and cleared by Iacovitti. Collected in the centre circle by Newell for Hibs, works it wide left again. Stevenson fired in for Campbell to link with Nisbet. Lovely touch from Kevin Nisbet. He was spinning away from Jack Baldwin. He was in all sorts of trouble, and he hauls him back, and Hibs have got a free kick, and Baldwin's got a booking.
Yeah, again, it's excellent play. They almost draw that midfield three of Ross County in towards Newell, in towards Jago, and it's a ball round the corner and the change of pace. And Kevin Nisbet, as we know, he's always on the move. He's so bright, and he manages to roll Jack Baldwin. But good opportunity in the left foot of Joe Newell now, just to deliver it into the box and ask a question or two at the back line of Ross County.
The free kick midway, just exactly midway inside the county half, and it's left of centre. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Hibs players, maybe 6 now, at the edge of the area. 20 minutes on the clock, and Hibs looking for a breakthrough. Joe Newell curls it in from the free kick, good header away. Iacovitti was up there to get his head to it. And they do have plenty of presence in that back line, which is great defensively and also pretty handy from set plays and long throws, etc., as we've seen already. But that's their main job on the night, as a free kick goes Ross County's way. Their main job is to withstand the attacking threat of the likes of Nisbet and Campbell.
Yeah, I think the extra centre back, Rob, gives you that, doesn't it? You know, Ross County have went to that back three, so you throw in the extra centre back, it gives them a threat in the opposition penalty box. But just as you see there, it's not just the three centre backs, it's also knowing the characters. The three guys there, they put their body in the line, they're brave, they attack the ball really well. So I think that's another aspect of Ross County's play that will improve with this sort of change of system that they've went to in recent games.
Talking of long throws, we'll be heading for Aberdeen in a minute, but we'll stay in Dingwall for the moment, because last time County had a long throw, they went close to scoring. Here comes Jack Baldwin, who flings the ball in, not quite as far this time, but it's straight back to him. Chance to get the ball in with his feet this time, but he's taken too long to make up his mind. Danda down the left-hand side as the ball broke back towards him. He whips in across, and Jordan White was in there. Iacovitti had stayed up as well, looking to get a shot away. Let's head for the championship. Cove Rangers against Ayr and Tyrone.
Yeah, we've had a goal here at the Balmoral Stadium in the Scottish Cup, and it's gone to the visitors, United. It was a goal that was created very much by Dipo Akiniemi. He powered his way into the Cove box. He laid the ball off to his right. It was met by Mark McKenzie, who lashed a shot, which took a slight deflection on the way into the net to give United the lead.
Ayr United ahead at Balmoral by a 0-0, still goalless between Inverness, Cally Thistle and Queen's Park. And Hibs have a player down in the far side, Stuart.
Yeah, it's Kevin Nisbet. It looks like it's a bit of a worry. I don't think there was any contact, Rob. I think he was trying to go through towards goal against Conor Randall, and it looks as if he's maybe just pulled up with a muscle injury. Just trying to have a wee look here and see if the physio's signalling to take him off, but that will be a concern for Hibs.
Yeah, those games, of course, Scottish Cup, Cove Rangers against Ayr United, 0-1, and still goalless. Inverness against Queen's Park, still goalless in this one, with, of course, 5 games to come tomorrow night. Aberdeen against St Mirren, Celtic Livingston, Hearts against Rangers, Kilmarnock Dundee United, Motherwell St Johnstone. They all start at 7:45, and full coverage right here. Harry McCurdy, I think, is standing by for Hibs. He's rapidly getting himself changed and ready as Callaghan fires a ball into the heart of the Hibs defence, headed away by Hanlon. Clearance completed by Newell, and it bounces all the way into the penalty box occupied by Ross Laidlaw. He bowls it out to Iacovitti. The ball curled forward towards Eamon Brophy and cleared by Will Fish. So Hibs are about to make that change. Nisbet off, McCurdy on. Big blow for Hibs.
It's a massive blow with the story that we've had in the last few days. Lee Johnson will be looking at a player that's committed to the cause, decided he wants to stay at Hibs, and then so unfortunate, no more than sort of 23, 24 minutes into the game, and as I say, it looks as if it's a muscle injury, Rob, which will be a concern.
Sympathetic applause for 8-goal Kevin Nisbet as he walks past the cluster of 500 Hibs fans behind Ross Laidlaw's goal. Disappointed that he's not going to get a chance to add to that goal tally. Moving okay, but remains to be seen whether it's a problem that's going to keep him out for a little while or not. Having, of course, knocked back the chance to move to Millwall. Had that gone through, Hibs would have been about £2.5 million better off. So Kevin Nisbet will be disappearing down the county tunnel. End of the match for him. As a cross comes in for County from the left-hand side, stretching for the header was Conor Randall. He just couldn't quite get up high enough to power that back into the middle, and it goes behind David Marshall's goal for a bye kick. 25 minutes gone, County 0, Hibs 0.
Yeah, an open play, Rob, that seems to be the thing that Ross County are looking for. Balls from that left-hand side, diagonals towards Jordan White pulling off to the back post, but in this occasion Conor Randall trying to arrive late in at the back post area, maybe trying to create a mismatch against Lewis Stevenson, just with a height factor, but Lewis Stevenson does defend those situations not too bad for his stature, but that's something 2 or 3 times now just for open play that they're looking at.
The ball bouncing out of play close to Malky Mackay, who couldn't keep the smile off his face, having completed that deal for Simon Murray and ushered him across the Keswick Bridge. Not sure if it was the stretch limo or not that delivered him, but he certainly got here, and he's on the bench. Hibs in possession with the substitute McCurdy. All action as he rolls the ball back.
Is that the haircut or the play up?
Well, yeah, it's certainly a striking hairdo. Hibs working across again to Stevenson. McGeady collecting. Randall breathing down his neck. Back the ball goes to Hanlon and hooked square towards Fish on the halfway line for Hibs. Played some nice football, Hibs, but it hasn't probably, frustratingly for them, added up to enough. so far. Nothing like a save so far for Laidlaw.
No, again, a few threats down the left-hand side in particular. We know that Yuan now goes and plays as a striker, and McGeady comes to the left-hand side, but it's not amounted to an effort at goal. Ross Laidlaw's not really been troubled, and I think that'll be the frustration from Hibs. Having played relatively well, you want to go and test the opposition goalkeeper.
Defending solidly again, Ross County, but when they were in possession of it, Callaghan harried his pass down the line and gave the ball back, and Hibs certainly dominating possession in the first 27 minutes. Yuan wins the ball on the halfway, and a short pass to Newell, number 11 for Hibs, to McGeady on the touchline. Played in to the feet of Campbell and gets it back. The veteran McGeady jinking onto the right foot. Decent looking cross ball in. He just bounced it in towards the near post area, but without Kevin Nisbet, nobody really sensing the possibilities there and making that little move in.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. You can see the change to the dynamics of the Hibs side right away. Eli Yuhan dropping towards the halfway line initially in the build up to receive the ball, and when McGeady gets it in that left hand side, you know he's going to look to get a cross in. Yuhan's too far beyond the front post, and it's only Harry McCurdy that's occupying what is three centre backs of Ross County, so you're expecting Campbell, Yuan and McCurdy potentially at least to get inside that penalty area to create a goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah, it was a nice little idea, a nice little ball dropped in short, but just nobody having the anticipation of it to get into that area, and it turned out to be a pretty harmless ball into the box in the end. County have a free kick close to halfway. Danda gives it to Tilson and gets it back, and Baldwin from halfway scoops one up towards the edge of the area, flicked on by Callaghan, cleared by Hanlon. County getting themselves up the pitch, and they've got a throw in out on the right hand side, and I think we know what's coming next. The long throws prior to this have been from the left hand side, this one on the right, and it will be the man wearing number 5 on his back, Jack Baldwin, to take this. Can County get some reward out of this one? Baldwin steps up and flings the ball into the box. Hanlon won the header. McGeady looks to complete the clearance, but only after he's done a couple of step overs, a couple of jinks. County work it back up the pitch quickly towards Brophy and White, but it just wouldn't stick for them. And now Hibs are in possession again and looking to work the ball around the pitch. Campbell involved. He was being held as he got his pass away to Stevenson, and now McGeady. Left hand side, jinking his way in towards the box, onto the right foot. Still has it, McGeady. His chipped ball is headed away, and it's County on the counter, and it's Danda with a driving run all on his own, and he's done really well to win a free kick. It's going to be a yellow card coming out of the referee's pocket as well for the challenge of Cadden, I think it was.
Yeah, I think it is. He's just recovering back into position. Great play from Jan Danda. He does the bit that you maybe wouldn't associate with him in breaking up the play, but it's a driving run from there, and obviously the Hibs fullback decides to tug him and pull him down, and it brings about that yellow card that you speak of.
It was James Jago, I think, who got the yellow card for hauling him back. It was a really avoidable yellow because Jan Danda was on his own. He was surrounded by about 3 or 4 Hibs players, and I'm not sure where he was going, but Jago hauled him down, and that's a booking for the Australian midfielder. Danda with the Ross County free kick. The wind holds it up slightly, dropping for Keith Watson. Hibs get it clear, and a long ball is chased by Yuan down the middle. Baldwin's header won't get back to his goalkeeper. Eli Yuan is in to fire Hibs in front. 31 minutes gone. It's a Baldwin blunder for Ross County, and the Frenchman happy to snap up the chance. Ross County 0, Hibs 1.
Yeah, it's a terrible goal from Ross County's point of view, but Eli Yuan chases a lost cause. Rob, it looks like it's that punt up the park, ball with Luke's in full control. I don't understand why he doesn't just empty out the park. I really don't. He goes to head it back, leaves it short, and we know the pace of Yuan. He gets onto it, but I tell you what, he shows that composure that we maybe questioned in the early stages of the game. Looks as if it goes between the legs of Ross Laidlaw in the Ross County goal, and out of absolutely nothing, when Hibs have dropped off the last few minutes, they managed to get their nose in front.
Scored at the weekend, scored one of the 6 against Aberdeen, and he has scored again 3 goals now for Hibs, and an important one too, to give them some end product. 13 minutes away from half-time. They've played lots of really good football. They've looked confident on the back of the weekend result, and it could be significant now that they've gone in front.
Yeah, it could be, especially with that change with Nesbitt coming off. It gives Yuan some renewed confidence off the back of his goal at the weekend. But as I say, that's not Rob Bean from any other good play. That one there, it was a punt up the park. Centre-back should deal with it. But credit to Yuan for just gambling on the other side of the defender and getting his finish.
Ross County 0, Hibs 1 on BBC Radio Scotland. Another long ball. It's over the top of Baldwin this time, and out comes Laidlaw right to the furthest extent of the penalty box to make sure that he wrapped his gloves about it, and he raised a boot as well, just to make sure that Yuan wasn't going to come anywhere near him. Meantime, at the other end, a flick on by White, looking to link up with Brophy, but it bounces through to David Marshall.
Yeah, we need to say again, both ends there with the conditions. We don't have the rain now, but we've certainly got the wind, and you can see that the kind of tension it's causing for centre backs. They're not quite sure whether they go and meet it initially, whether they're letting the ball bounce. Both Ross County in that situation there, and then it was Hanlon that almost allowed Brophy in at the other end there. So I think it's a case of deal with it at the earliest opportunity, Rob, rather than let those balls bounce.
Well, the as it stands league table has Hibs in 4th place. If they can go back to Edinburgh with all 3 points tonight, they will go above Livingston. They will have played a couple of games more, but it's about getting points on the board. They'll hope the transfer window works their way in the course of the evening, but more importantly, they will hope to make it back-to-back wins after the thumping of Aberdeen on Saturday. Forward goes Stevenson again, clipped inside to the goal scorer. Back it goes to McGeady. Working like a well-oiled machine at the moment. Hibs in again from Stevenson, stabbed away by Randall. Wasn't really caring where it went. He just wanted to get that away. They're under serious pressure here, Ross County. And well, Hibs didn't really need the lift of the goal. They were playing well anyway, but they've now got some reward for some terrific play.
Some excellent combinations. I keep saying it down this left-hand side. McGeady involved, Stevenson, Newell, all very comfortable on the ball, all good quality, and it's definitely posing Ross County a problem. It looks like Ross Callahan's sort of moving further to this side to see if he can negate that threat that they have.
Hanlon to Fish, just inside the Hibs half. And they'll sense that if they can get another goal, Hibs, there might be no way back even at this early stage for Ross County, who have carried threat but haven't taken their chances. And Hibs' big opportunity snapped up by Eli Yuan, and we're into the last 10 minutes of the first half in Dingwall, and it's Ross County 0, Hibs 1. It's Cove 0, Ayr 1 in the Scottish Cup, and Inverness County Thistle against Queen's Park is still goalless. Queens having lost 18 goals. Simon Murray in the build-up to both these games. As the ball is given away by McGeady, caught in 2 minds, left his pass short towards Cadden, and it was Jan Danda who intercepted, and now switches the ball across to Keith Watson. Forward towards Randall. Back with the county captain again, into the feet of Jordan White this time. Control wasn't great, but it broke back towards Tilson. Now Callaghan forward for Brophy. Good defending by Hanlon. Sensed, anticipated what was going to happen there, got there before the on loan St Mirren striker. Diving header in the centre circle from Jordan Tilson. But Hibs win it back and look again to pass the ball through the midfield. It's McCurdy. with Cadden out wide. The ball is now with Chris Cadden. 3 in the box for Hibs. McGeady just outside. Jego in possession, made his Hibs debut in the derby. Hibs went from losing 3-0 at home to winning 6-0 on their home patch on Saturday. They really are playing some attractive football here at Hibs tonight. Really good passing and movement and great combinations, and they're almost in behind again on the right hand side. It was Cadden racing on to the pass. Finally Kenty get it clear. Unable to get close to Hibs, Kenty at times, Stuart.
Exactly right, Rob. I think Ross County are finding themselves now being forced back into this back 5. It's leaving Callaghan, Tilson and less so Jan Danda as the 3 guys in the middle of the pitch that are tasked with trying to get pressure on the ball, and they just can't do it at this stage. Ross County also trying to leave the 2 strikers up the park, and Jordan White, Eamon Brophy, so they're left to try and occupy the 2 centre backs, so they're at least 1 man short in that midfield area. But the flip side of it is when Ross County get the ball, the service up to the 2 strikers isn't particularly good, so not really getting a breather off the back of it. But you're absolutely right, Hibs playing some really good stuff in these conditions, being able to get the ball down and play, interchange, the combinations between the midfielders has been excellent so far.
Getting it on the deck as much as possible, Hibs, and taking the swirling breeze out of the equation. But there's you can probably hear on the roof of the stand the rain is pouring down at the moment, so conditions have deteriorated somewhat as Kenty have a player down, and a fair bit of reaction from a ruck of players on the back of the challenge.
I think the Ross County players are claiming that Eli Yuhan may be stamped on. I'm not quite sure who it is that's down, if it's George Harmon. Now I'm seeing him, I'm not sure who's down, Rob, but
there's a yellow card certainly having been shown.
There was definitely a coming together. I didn't see any intent as in a stamp, but the Ross County players seem up. They seem as if they're a little bit frustrated with the referee, Graham Granger.
Baldwin booked.
No, Baldwin down.
Baldwin on the ground. So Jack Baldwin is back up. Certainly there was a bit of an angry reaction. VAR will be inevitably having a look, but I think everyone is pretty content that referee Graham Granger has got that right. So not been a great first half for Baldwin, but he is okay after that challenge, but culpable certainly at the only goal of the game. He stooped to try to head a bouncing ball back to his goalkeeper, and it wasn't really the percentage choice, was it? And he just got it wrong, didn't get enough on it. Eli Yuan was in and clipped a shot past Laidlaw for 1-0. That's the way it is.
Yeah, in those situations you have to be certain, Rob, but I think that the percentage play, as you mentioned, is just to hook it out the park, let your team regroup, find your shape again and go and defend from there, because it's not been a great first half for Ross County. But that said, Hibs haven't exactly been banging down the door on top of Ross Laidlaw for all their eye-catching play, so they'll be frustrated that they've lost a goal of that nature.
In comes Baldwin's long throw for the home team, flicked on by Jordan White, but Hibs get it clear again. The ball back into the mix. Danda just outside the box, squares it for Keith Watson. Great curling cross in, up with Jordan White, but lost out in the aerial tussle when it broke back to George Harmon. His shot was blocked, it's gone behind, and County will have their first corner.
It's terrific defending from Chris Cadden, who, got to say, Keith Watson finds himself just on the right hand side of the box, stands up a beautiful cross towards Jordan White at the back post area. I thought he was going to get on the end of it, but credit to Chris Cadden, he just matches the runner, and he's brave enough to put his head in and put it behind for that corner.
Corner kick left hand side for Ross County. We're into the last 4 minutes of the first half. Can County get this game levelled up late on in the first 45? Danda with a curling delivery, headed away. The follow-up shot is blocked. It's good defending from Hibs. Was it Tilson, I think, who had the shot from the edge of the area? And now Hibs on the move, on the break, and Lewis Stevenson it is, who's making ground down the left-hand side, rolls it for McCurdy, left side of the box, touched in field towards Yuan, and scrambled away by the home team, and out for a throw-in.
Keith Watson's incensed just as that play's building again there, Rob. It looks like Eli Yuan that's maybe just wiped him out or clipped him off the ball as he's trying to make his run forward, and I think he's making his point to the referee that he's already booked as well. I didn't see a great deal in it, but there was definitely a coming together again by the two players.
The ball's out about 10 yards from the corner flag, left-hand side. Ross County 0, Hibs 1, BBC Radio Scotland. Stevenson gets it back, put it one side, Randall went the other, breaks back towards McGeady, his cross cleared, and Chris Cadden at the edge of the area, got the ball on the deck, took the shot on, but it was always heading way over the top.
Yeah, he never quite gets it set out of his feet. His body shape's probably wrong to take on the shot, and I think he's in a decent position to go and take on George Harmon, try and get himself inside the penalty box. Probably a poor decision off the back of that good defending from Chris Cadden, but more positive play, more questions asked from Hibs.
Goal kick, Ross County. Ross Laidlaw to take it in front of the Hibs fans in that stand. More than happy with the way the game is going, and Hibs certainly not flattered by their 1-0 advantage. Much the better team so far, playing all the football. County's threat has come from throws and free kicks and corner kicks. Callaghan plays one forward for Danda, rolls it out wide. Conor Randall can't get there. Covering across was Paul Hanlon, who's been terrific at the back, organising for Hibs. But the ball does go out, and that every time it does, you know what's coming next from the home team. Baldwin would like to atone for his mistake by providing the throw that sets up the equaliser. In comes one of those long throws, breaks out towards the edge of the area, and off balance, taking on the shot at goal was it Brophy?
Ross Callaghan
it was.
Yeah, again, long throw from Baldwin, manages to find its way to the back edge of the box, and Callaghan, as you say, Rob, just off balance, doesn't quite sort his feet and get his head over the top of the ball just to guide it to the target. But that without doubt has been Ross County's best option so far in the first half. Long throws, free kicks, even corner kicks has been their biggest threat.
He's only got one goal this season, Ross Callaghan. He's certainly last season contributed a whole lot more than that, but he never really looked convinced about the shot at goal. Back it goes from skipper Keith Watson to Ross Laidlaw, and just manoeuvres the ball out of the way of goal scorer Ewan before launching it downfield. Fish is there looking to cushion a header towards Cadden, and down goes Jordan Tilson after Cadden's chance. They both went flying in. It was a genuine 50-50 by the looks of it. And what is the referee Graham Granger going to do about this? Yellow is out. How did you view that one, Stuart?
Yeah, it's a yellow card. In the first view, Rob, it's a yellow card. He is late. It didn't look as if he was much out of control. So I think the yellow card's the correct decision. It looks like it's Jordan Tilson that might be down, who is a competitor in the middle of the park, will never shirk a tackle. But I don't think any more than a yellow card.
I think you're right. They both were totally committed to it, as you would expect. It was a 50-50. Tilson is back on his feet and okay. And a booking for Cadden and a free kick for Ross County about 10 yards inside the Hibs half left-hand side. We've played 45, we're inside stoppage time, 3 minutes being added, and Hibs still have that 1-0 lead. A late first half chance potentially here for the home team. George Harmon with the free kick for County, finding the head of Iacovitti. Into the mix it goes, cleared by Hibs. The ball bounces behind. Iacovitti left it because he was convinced it was a corner kick. the assistant points into the middle, saying that's a goal kick, and Alex Iacovitti can't believe it.
I think he's got a point, Rob, as well. He's competing for, 2-3 balls inside the penalty area, and as he chases out, I thought the last touch did potentially come off the Hibs defender and behind for what should have been a corner kick. You can always tell by the player's reaction as well. You can see when he's incensed that he knows there's been a touch, and I think sometimes the officials maybe have to give themselves a second or two just to take that into account.
Yeah, I think he was letting it bounce behind for a reason. Couldn't quite believe it. And the assistant said goal kick. Couple of minutes added, just one to go at the end of this first half. County 0, Hibs 1. McCurdy with a little spin in the middle of the pitch and then clips a pass out wide from McGeady to have another run at Randall. Jinking inside, but his cross ball needed a bit more height to get beyond Keith Watson, who heads it away. Just a minute left then of this first half, a very satisfactory first half for Hibs. And their only disappointment will be that their play hasn't got them further in front. Stevenson to McCurdy and McGeady, triangle of passes left-hand side, but good ball winning as well from Callaghan for County. Then it's won back by Aidan McGeady. Newell to Josh Campbell, into the feet of Yuan, but it's squeezed away from him by Baldwin. Back to Laidlaw, and he can clear this up towards halfway. The ball bounces back off White to Callaghan, tried to curl one down the line towards Eamon Brophy. The ball slipping out of play for a throw-in, and that will be the last action of the first half. And very impressive first half it's been from Hibs, who are halfway towards back-to-back wins on the back of that 6-0 victory against Aberdeen on Saturday. They're looking for 6 points in just the space of a few days, and you certainly wouldn't be betting against them on the evidence of what we've seen so far. A couple of good chances early on for Ross County, a free kick and a long throw supplying opportunities in the middle. Baldwin could have done better. His header cleared off the line by Hibs, and that was followed by a free kick from Danda, which set up an opportunity for Iacovitti. He headed wide, and Ross County made to pay for those missed opportunities. Just after the half hour, when Hibs went in front, it was a big mistake, big error of judgment from Jack Baldwin on a ball bouncing down the middle of the pitch. He tried to head it back to his goalkeeper rather than hook it clear, and never got enough on the header, and the invitation was gratefully accepted by Eli Yuan, who clipped his shot past Ross Laidlaw for the only goal of the game so far. Half-time in Dingwall. Ross County 0, Hibs 1.
On digital radio.
Online at BBC Sports Scotland.
Or play BBC Radio Scotland Extra on your smart speaker or BBC Sounds.
This is Sports Sound.
There's no substitute.
Gordon Buchanan, what 3 words would be on the front of your autobiography?
The Granny Magnet.
Join me, Mark Nelson, for the show with loads of laughs. Xander Murray.
I absolutely adore sushi.
Change days for footballers is what I would like to say. Sushi.
I know, it beats a haggis supper, I tell you.
There's plenty of twists and turns as well-known names share their good and bad tales.
I got into a lift with someone called Bjork, but I got confused with her name in a dance, and I began twerking for her benefit. That was not so successful.
Listen Fridays from 1:30 on BBC Radio Scotland, or by searching for the good, the bad and the unexpected on the BBC Sounds app.
You're listening to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland. A commentary match in the Premiership this evening. Ross County 0, Hibs 1. Eli Yuan with a goal on 31 minutes. We'll cross to our 2 Scottish Cup 4th round ties in a couple of minutes' time. We'll get the latest on the transfer front. The window closes at midnight in Scotland this evening. John Hughes is with us in the studio. John, you were at Easter Road on Saturday. Hibs very good that day. You did warn us before the game in terms of the pitch up here tonight, a bit a different Hibs performance, but so far so good for Lee Johnson's side.
Yeah, they've stood up to it. They got very lucky with a goal. Bad mistake with Jack Baldwin, a player that I had at Hartlepool. Very unlike him. But Hibs have had to adjust and adapt, but they've dominated the ball, and they've passed it quite well. Created 1 or 2 chances, but what they will have to do up at Dingwall is you have to defend set pieces, and they've done that very, very well.
Yeah, I mean, we saw, Leanne, the close-up pictures, Kevin Nisbet going off injured there, real heartache for him. You could see him cursing his luck there. It was a long spell he had out. I was at the game where his comeback game was at Ibrox, played very well that night. He's been great since he came back. Of course, he had that move. We thought South at the weekend. It was pulled for whatever reason. Real heartbreak for him tonight.
Well, it's frustrating because I think, as the guys will understand as well, football can be a short career at times, and I think financially the move to Millwall would have been a good one for Kevin Nisbet as well, and he understands that. He's come back from a serious injury already. Within a matter of days you look like you're on the move. Certainly would have been a good move for him. And then a couple of days later you get an injury like that, and that's how quickly it changes. Is he going to be out for a couple of weeks? Is he going to be out for 6 to 8 weeks, which a hamstring injury can be? He's worked incredibly hard, it looks to me, to get back. He looks in really good condition, and it's a huge loss for Hibs. You know, they would have been delighted to keep him regardless of the circumstances. Financially it might have been a loss for them as well, but I think to have a player that's possibly going to secure you 4th place finish, can they push Hearts and get closer to 3rd, who knows? But he's a huge loss, and certainly even in a game like this, it's fine margins. Yogi's touched on it.
No, because we're just talking about, obviously, you know why we're in transfer window, watching the game. Hamstrings, 6 to 8 weeks? Does that force Hibs' hand to go and sign a striker? My mates just text me actually saying Hibs are sniffing about a striker, and it's an international striker.
OK, don't say it, but have you got a name?
I've not got a name.
Get the name. Go on, John. There's your target. Threaten him. That'll do the trick.
That's it, done right there.
Do you know what, Craig? Going to be a sports sound with a VAR debate. A couple of yellow cards for Hibs there, and certainly the second one from Cadden you thought was certainly worthy of the referee being called over to have a look.
Yeah, I think it's definitely worth a look at. Yeah. I mean, it was quite a forceful challenge, and there's no chance of getting the ball in that particular situation. So it definitely deserved a second look, and you know, I think it might have been a red card. It certainly deserved a look.
We were looking at here, and if you look where the ball went, the Ross County got there and played the ball forward. Cadden certainly caught him late and is a little bit high. So he's very lucky to get the yellow. Well,
that's the thing, Liam. We were chatting off air when the commentary was ongoing there, and we were obviously on a Saturday, and it's the big thing, because we were looking back at some of the decisions that were made at the weekend, and on that, that's the problem, isn't it?
That is the issue, and it's hard not to compare like-for-like instances or similar type challenges. I think you could debate it either way. Craig's probably right, worth a second look, whether VAR they will have looked at it, I would imagine. Any sort of booking like that would be a red card check. It's been deemed as reckless, which we know is not always a red card. It's not been seen as serious foul play, but Cadden was certainly walking a tightrope.
So at half-time in the Premiership, Ross County 0, Hibs 1. Ellie Youhan with a goal on 31 minutes. 2 Scottish Cup 4th round ties for you this evening. Let's get to Inverness. Cally Thistle at home to Queen's Park. There for us, Ailey Davis.
Yeah, thanks very much. Well, at half-time it's Inverness, Cally Thistle 0, Queen's Park 0. Not a huge amount between these sides. There has been chances for both of them, but no one able to find the back of the net as yet. An excellent chance for the hosts on 17 minutes. New boy Jay Henderson on loan from St Mirren. A shot from 20 yards, that coming off the post. Just a minute later, Cameron Harper, this time he went close. His shot though saved by Callum Ferry in the Queen's Park goal. Ewan Henderson, another new boy, another Henderson, but this time for the visitors. He's been playing really well this evening. He could have opened the scoring on 19 minutes. He broke into the box, but Inverness keeper Mark Richards with a really important save to keep that one out. Henderson again just 8 minutes later, this time a shot from 25 yards, and again Richards there with the save. And then just 6 minutes before half time, Thomas Robson, a free kick from 20 yards, a really excellent shot, and who else but that man between the sticks for Inverness, Richards, again doing enough to keep that one out and ensure that it stays all level at half time. So if it remains the same, all level at full time, we'll be in for a long evening here as extra time, and potentially penalties would be required to be played to ensure a result. But as it stands at half time, it's Inverness, Cally Thistle 0, Queen's Park 0.
Thank you to Ailey Davis. Let's then get to Tyrone Smith. He's watching the other 4th round tie this evening, Cove Rangers against Ayr United.
Yeah, Kenny, and at the break here at the Balmoral Stadium, it's Cove Rangers 0, Ayr United 1. The Honest Men with a slender lead on the south side of Aberdeen. The hosts, though, they started very well. They almost took a very early lead when a Shea Logan long throw eventually found Kieran Dunn at the back post, but he screwed his low-angled shot just wide. But the visitors soon found their feet in this game. They took a real grip on proceedings, enjoying a lot of possession. So it was no surprise when they took the lead in 22 minutes. Akinyemi showed great skills to power his way into the box. His shot was blocked, but the ball fell to Mark McKenzie, and his deflected shot from 12 yards out found the net to break the deadlock. But despite their recent defensive woes, Cove didn't buckle, and in first half added time, the ball was swung in from the left-hand side, and it was headed just over by Leighton McIntosh from point blank range. So at the interval here at the Balmoral Stadium, it's Cove Rangers 0, Ayr United 1.
Thank you to Tyrone Smith. Tyrone and Ailey will bring us all the news, all the updates from these fourth round ties this evening. As he said, we had this drama on Sports Sound, 10 days or so ago. We had penalty shootouts going on at the same time. It was absolutely fantastic. That could be on the cards this evening. We'll get our three pundits in the studio tonight to give us their Scottish Cup memory in just a few minutes' time. But we've been joined by our reporter Brian McLaughlin. We had an update from Kerry Nidsan near the top of the programme. The transfer window closes at midnight in Scotland this evening. What's been happening, Brian?
Yeah, well, Tony Watts, obviously that move has gone through to St Mirren after Ethan Erhahon has made the move from Paisley to Lincoln City. That move has been confirmed in the 45 minutes that we've just had from Dingwall, Kenny. Now, I'm told that Kilmarnock are very keen to bring in, obviously, with at least one striker, possibly two. They've lost two strikers today already, and Kyle Lafferty's gone, and the other young lad who's
Ollie Shaw.
Yeah, Ollie Shaw's gone as well. So, yeah, Derek McKinnon keen to bring in some movement, some new blood at Kilmarnock, and Dundee United as well. Very keen, possibly one, maybe even two players coming in on loan, and there could be big news for Hibernian fans coming, possibly even, Yogi, before the start of the second half here in Dingwall. I'm expecting some sort of announcement very, very soon.
Right. Are you saying, is this possibly a striker that Yogi's still got the name of?
I don't know who.
Right, you think there might be news?
I think there will be news, possibly before the second half.
I think someone's saying their Twitter might be.
Their Twitter feed said any half-time signing news coming. So yeah, I'm expecting something to happen. And I don't know about you, Yogi, but you still think that Hibs need a defender rather than a striker? Although possibly now with Kevin Nisbet's injury.
Well, I would love to see the boy Welsh for Celtic going to Hibs. I think he's what I call a standy up. He's been there, done it. Still got the best years in front of him. He'll have come out of a great school of standards training in at Celtic. So I'd love to see that one done. But
Celtic have knocked back Dundee United tonight.
Yeah.
Sheffield Wednesday are also in for him as well. If it's Hibernian as well, we'll find out hopefully quite soon.
Yeah. So, but in terms of strikers, I still think that Hibs are a little bit short. Johan gives him the help because he can play on either side or he can play centre forward, as we've seen tonight. And he's coming into a right good turn for him. So
that goal tonight was very similar to the goal that Kevin Nisbet scored on Saturday. A long ball over the top, running through 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper and scoring. Yeah,
definitely. And as I'm saying, if Hibs keep that starting 11, Hibs are not a bad side. They're not a bad side. They just
remember the side at Motherwell on the Sunday when he had McGeady back, he had Nisbet up top, he had Portis. It just looked a really strong starting 11 that day, and they won that game.
And Craig will back me up on this. We talked about the loss of Porteous, and when Porteous and a big character like that goes out your dressing room, someone else has to step up. It's like stepping up the ladder, and hopefully that'll be the case. And the young boy Campbell, to score a hat-trick at the weekend, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, speaking of big characters, Tony Watt, we spoke about him earlier in the season, actually, Craig, in the programme, how he's turned his game around, but perhaps his attitude as well, and he's got his move to St Mirren today.
Yeah, and I think that partly will be because of his previous relationship with Stephen. He seemed to be the one who managed to unlock the progress, and because it did stall, for a long time. Tony was this rising star when he was a youngster, and it seemed that his progress just halted altogether, and he drifted for years until Stephen got him at Motherwell. I think he started to pick up again. So, I could see that. I know managers going back for players that they've worked with previously who they know what they're going to get. So I think that, I don't know what is happening at Dundee United, but it looked like it was kind of going a little bit sour for Tony up there. So, from that point of view, it'd be good for him to get back in with a manager who actually believes in him.
There will be more signing news, we can promise you that, on Sports. And we're with you until midnight. Scottish Cup memory?
Yeah, I've got the signing for you.
Go for it.
Matthew Hop. I've literally just landed it, so I'm just waiting on full details of Matthew Hop. But yeah,
he's an American striker.
Yeah.
American.
You were right, Yogi.
International.
Yep. Well, I don't know if he's an international yet, but he's an American striker.
He will be once he plays for Hibs.
Craig, give us a Scottish Cup memory.
There's only one that I want to mention just now because John's here. The day that Wayne Foster scored at Easter Road.
The flying postman.
Yeah, Matthew Hop is joined 21 years of age from California. He has scored 1 goal for his international team, which is United States, and he comes up from Middlesbrough.
Right, OK, we'll see what happens with that one. The players are back out in Dingwall, so we'll get some more Scottish Cup memories later in the programme. Stuart Kettlewell is there with Rob McLean for us. So Hibs with the advantage at the half-time break. Johan with a goal on 31 minutes. Let's then get back to Stuart and to Rob.
Thanks, Kenny. Both teams back out. County going to make a change. Hibs had to in the first half with that injury to Kevin Nisbet. We'll try and find out afterwards the severity of that, but the news is that Simon Murray is going to be making his debut at the start of the second half for Ross County. That distinctive shock of red hair. County going to go to a different shape, you would imagine. Second half with Jack Baldwin staying indoors, Stuart.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go to a back four, but Rob, it's incredibly attacker, isn't it? 3 out-and-out strikers in Jordan White, Simon Murray and Eamon Brophy, but also the number 10, Jan Danda, who likes to play in the front foot. So I'm essentially looking at it as a front four as it may develop, but we'll just need to see how it takes place just behind that.
Yeah, they might find a way of staying with the back three. Ross Callaghan is certainly starting the second half in the back division, but whether he's going to slot into his normal midfield role and it is going to be a 4 with Randall and Harmon as the fullbacks, we shall see. Underway second half, Hibs with that 1 goal advantage as the ball is collected by Brophy, close to us, close to the touchline as well. He rolls it back towards Iacovitti, curls one down the line. Nice pass, chased by Jordan White, heading for the byline, but the offside flag has eventually gone up against the County striker.
Yeah, you can see initially Ross County making no apologies for it, trying to get it into the forward area. They've now got the wind at their back, and it looks like Jordan White will play as that central striker. Simon Murray just off to the right-hand side, Eamon Brophy at the left, and Jan Danda just tucked in behind Jordan White. So, like we mentioned, it will be really attacking, and I'll not be surprised to see this ball going forward at every opportunity from Ross County.
David Marshall to take the free kick for Hibs. Hammered downfield and headed away by Iacovitti. Then it's Newell lofting one forward. Cadden has it, getting through the first challenge but not the second, coming in from Harmon, and the ball goes out for a Hibs throw down the right hand side as lots of County fans still retaking their seats, hoping their team can find a way to get back at Hibs. Just the 1 goal in it as the throw-in is taken, and Hibs make nothing of it. Jordan White gets onto the ball and rolls it back towards Keith Watson to curl one down the right-hand side, looking for Simon Murray to get his first involvement. A matter of a couple of hours ago, he was still a Queen's Park player. There was a race to sign him involving a few clubs, but Ross County got there with the winning bid, and 18 goal this season for Queen's Park. Simon Murray is a County player, and he'll be looking to make an instant impression, and he strikes me as the sort of guy who could do exactly that.
Yeah, I think what you get from Simon every single game, whatever club he's been at, is 100% commitment. We can see it just in the opening couple of minutes of this half, Rob, that he's all energy, he's all action, he wants to try and get himself involved in the game, and I think the fact that he's not trained with the group, I don't think it'll hamper him too much. I think he'll try and play off the cuff tonight. He'll try and get close to Jordan White in this second half and see what he can feed off of, any of the quality that the big fella can bring into the game.
Hibs looking to reproduce in the second half what they did in the first in terms of performance. It was pretty easy on the eye, a lot of their combination play. Just the one goal to show for it. But certainly County have a threat from set plays and throws, and they'll look to have that and maybe produce something from open play as well. That's what's been lacking for them so far. Hibs have dominated the ball. Fish hits a long ball from the right side, awkward in terms of where it landed, and Iacovitti had to deal with it and get it away. Wasn't one that Laidlaw was going to be coming for. Hibs have it with Josh Campbell down the side, right-hand side. Carden's cross is blocked by Tilson, and it's gone behind for the first corner of the second half.
Yeah, Hibs just settling into the second half, but what's noticeable to us from this position is even when Hibs are attacking, Ross County still asking the three forward players to stay up the pitch and just try and occupy four Hibs players, and I think the key for Hibs will be to get it into full-back position and try and make Brophy and Murray work back the pitch rather than being in those kind of threatening forward areas.
Yeah, it could be an entertaining second half if County are committed to that attacking style. Here's the Hibs corner. Newell fires it in beyond the back post, and it's going to be a race for McCurdy to keep it in, which he wins. He has it to Ewan and back out again, and again it's good passing and movement. And the goal scorer at the right side of the box with a dipping effort, which is parried away by Laidlaw. Fish had a go with a follow-up shot which was blocked, but it was a really good dipping effort that from the Frenchman, which produced a save, and as it was pushed out, you just never know what's going to happen next. At that point, County got it clear.
Really good play from Ewan again, just drifting out to that left-hand side, coming in his right foot, brings out the save from Ross Laidlaw, and the ball could have landed a little bit easier to a Hibs player, I have to say. Cadden finds himself about 17 yards out. Just wondered, Rob, if he could have gone it a little bit quicker. He sort of waited for the ball to come into him, and the chance sort of dissipated from there.
Danda's header forward finds Murray. He just lays it back towards Brophy. Brophy skips away from the challenge of Joe Newell. Well, an offside flag has gone up, and that, of course, supersedes the free kick that Ross County would have had.
Yeah, I've seen this a couple of times as well, just noticing the referee blows the whistle before the linesman's flag goes up. I know they're in communication, I know the signal comes across, but you're used to seeing that linesman's flag going up before you hear the whistle.
Ewan again with another shot at goal, and it's another really awkward one. It's dipping again, it's bouncing in the 6-yard box. Really awkward for Laidlaw, who gets fingertips to it. It's round the post. It's going to be a corner kick.
The goalkeeper done really well, didn't he, just to get his fingertips on it, put it behind for the corner. But again, Ewan on that left sort of channel, cutting in the right foot. He's such a threat, he's so difficult to pin down. He doesn't just play as a central striker, he drags centre backs into positions they don't want to be in. He's getting better and better as this game rolls on.
So another corner kick on the right hand side for Hibs. They're pushing here to increase their advantage in the game. It's Newell again, delivering from the corner kick. Hanlon was up there, it's nodded off the line as it was floated back in. Ross County just have to hang on in at the moment as Hibs look to score again. It's back with Marshall to launch it downfield, headed away by Keith Watson. Up goes Tilson, losing out to Newell on the halfway line. County have the ball back. Watson to Iacovitti, committing plenty of bodies forward. A long ball up towards Jordan White, who looks to flick it on towards Simon Murray, but he glanced it all the way through towards the Hibs goal, towards Marshall.
I think Ross County have to be careful, Rob, as well. With the wind at their back, I think it's easy sometimes to think they can just pitch it up to the forward players, but sometimes you need to change the angle, you know, because the wind's actually taking the ball out of play. Alex Yakoviti on that occasion hoists it up towards Jordan White, but it's too flat, there's too much pace on it, and very difficult for the striker to bring anybody else into the game, so maybe have to just change it and play an extra pass to try and get to that final third.
A point would get Ross County out of joint bottom, and that's a popular position at the moment, with 4 teams sharing it on 20 points. At the moment, a goal down to Hibs as Harmon heads the ball out of play under pressure from McCurdy. The throw in midway inside the Hibs half, just in front of us in the main stand. Chris Cadden to take the throw for Lee Johnson's team, and the Hibs fans behind David Marshall's goal will be getting on board that information that they've signed Matthew Hopp from Middlesbrough, an American international. So Hibs looking to do the business both off the pitch and on it tonight. 1-0 up here with 8.5 minutes gone of the second half on BBC Radio Scotland. Ayr United still a goal up at Cove in the Scottish Cup, and goalless between Inverness and Simon Murray's old team, Queen's Park. The ball on the right-hand side for County with Randall. Back it goes to Laidlaw, and it's hammered forward towards White. Gets a good header on, chased by Brophy. Gets there first, just outside the box. Eamon Brophy took the quick shot on, and it was blocked by Stevenson, who saw it coming. The other option, of course, would have been to try to find a pass towards Simon Murray, but it all broke down, and here go Hibs now as the game swings quickly down towards the other end. Harry McCurdy coming in off the right-hand side, those quick feet of his, and the ball, as he tried to pass it back to Newell, came off referee Granger, free, so he will get things restarted, having taken the touch he didn't want.
Lee Johnson just getting a bit frustrated down in front of us. That's twice the referee's got in the way of it, and it's a pretty promising attack. I think he should see, he's done it a third time. He's done it a third time.
Let's head for Cove and Tyrone.
Yeah, Cove are a goal down, now they're a man down. That's after Mitch Megginson just received his marching orders. That's after getting 2 yellow cards in the space of a minute for dissent. Paul Hartley cutting a pretty dejected looking figure in the Cove penalty area. It's Cove Rangers 10-man, Cove Rangers 0, United 1.
Yeah, Mitch Megginson sent off, which doesn't help Cove Rangers' chances of coming back at Ayr United. Anything else happens in those 2 games in Aberdeen and Inverness, you will get it instantly right here. It's still Ross County 0, Hibs 1, 10 minutes into the second half in Dingwall, and Laidlaw's kick out is on its way, headed away by Hanlon. Then it was Harmon to play it forward, and this time Will Fish clearing. Cushion pass on the halfway line from Newell. Played up for Ellie Yuan. Thought about the shot, rolls it instead towards Cadden, who tried to take a touch and get in behind Harmon. Good defending from George Harmon, but Hibs quickly get it back again. And as Yuan tried to jink away from the challenge of Tilson, he was caught by the county midfielder. It's going to be a free kick for Hibs just at the right corner of the penalty box.
The attack comes again, Rob, just from the situation I was talking about. Fullbacks trying to get forward for Hibs and involved in the game, because none of the forward players, whether it be Brophy or Murray, are going to match them back the park. So it starts from Cadden, and again Yuan just drifting towards the ball, and he's got that quick change of direction and wins himself a foul just 18 yards or so out, but just at the angle, that right hand side. Promising again position with the left foot of Joe Newell.
Aidan McGeady and Joe Newell are both over this set piece for Hibs. It's McGeady to dink it in, right-footed, headed straight back to him. Now heading for the byline. Danda gets his body in the way, a little push at McGeady as well. He was always going to be struggling to catch that. Over the line it goes, goal kick County, and played out by Laidlaw to Danda on the left-hand side. Can he use his playmaking qualities, County's number 10, to set up some opportunities in the second half for the three strikers that County have on the pitch now in White and Brophy and Murray. The ball is hooked forward towards White, looking to help it on towards Simon Murray. Danda in the middle of the pitch, plays it back to the skipper, Keith Watson. Out on the right side, Conor Randall. Looking to get more possession, work it around second half and create. Forward goes Iacovitti down the left-hand side, gives it to Harmon. Into the middle of the pitch, Callaghan is there. Ross Callaghan to Conor Randall on the right side now. Down the line it goes. Simon Murray in possession, linking with Randall. Looking to set something up here. Danda's cross ball, dropping beyond the back post. Harmon is there. Well, he waited and waited there for it there, George Harmon, but in waiting for it, the ball bounced over the goal line before he got there.
Yeah, but far better possession, Rob. It's the best Ross County have been in possession of the ball. Strung it together for 10, 12 passes. Went from left through the right-hand side. And again, they need to get Jan Dand on the ball, but they have to get him service where he's receiving the ball, starting to face the opposition backline. He slightly overhits the cross, as you mentioned. But I think George Harmon could have done slightly better, just gambling, working towards the goals to see if he can keep that cross alive.
Yeah, he just needed to keep it alive, exactly. And it bounced and bounced and then finally bounced over the line, and end of the opportunity, but encouraging, as Stuart says, in terms of the build-up. It was the best passage of passing play we've seen from the home team so far, and they might just take encouragement because they're building it up nicely again here down the right-hand side. It's a very attacking lineup this in the second half from Malky Mackay as we approach the hour mark, and the ball is out for a throw-in on that side. No Baldwin, of course, to take the long throws this time.
No, but it looks like it's the same ploy. George Harmon coming for the left-back position now to go and take it, so I think they'll set up a similar situation. Keith Watson, Alex Iacovitti coming forward, and again Danda just peeling off to see if he can drag one or two towards the ball to leave that space where they can go and attack the throw-in.
In comes the throw-in from Harmon, but it doesn't really get far enough in. Hibs don't exactly clear it too well, though, and an opportunity on the turn for Iacovitti. The follow-up effort from Brophy, and there was a claim for a nick on the ball as it went wide, looking for a corner kick. Goal kick given. Hibs have taken it quickly, and Ross County now have to get players back as Hibs switch the ball across towards Cadden on the right. Ahead of him McGeady, the ball is slipped down the line. Aidan McGeady can create from here, but he rolls it back instead towards Cadden. Those two combining. Down goes Cadden. McGeady has the ball, squeezed in from close to the byline. County get it clear. Danda clears, but he played it straight towards Jago. And now Hibs down the right side with McGeady again. Harmon blocks the cross. It goes out for a throw-in close to the corner flag. I think County going to make another change by the looks of it.
Yeah, it looks as if it's Victor Laturi might be coming on. You would imagine that it would be to replace Ross Callaghan or Jordan Tilson in the centre midfield area.
Meantime, Hibs have a throw-in and a 1-0 lead. Throw-in collected by Iacovitti, who thumps the ball down the pitch, and Jordan White after it. Across comes Hanlon to head the ball out of play. County are going to make that change right now, I think, and it is going to be Jordan Tilson coming off, and it will be just that straight swap in the central midfield area for the home team. Victor Laturi is the replacement. who's got a bit more creativity about him, hasn't he, than Tilson, would you say, Stuart?
Yeah, I think Jordan Tilson, someone I know very well, Rob, he does so well in the middle of the park. I think what you might get from Victor Latourie is more controlled possession. I think he'll potentially pass the ball forward more. As I say, Jordan Tilson does a really good job in there, but I think they'll be looking for that ability to pass it forward more from the centre midfield.
The ball's up onto the roof of the stand. That was the clattering noise in the background, put there by Newell. As Hibs look to get the control of the game that they had for a fair chunk of the first half. It's a different game in the second as Ross County change things up.
Yeah, they're starting to apply more pressure. Again, no real sighters on David Marshall's goal. The big aspect that I can see coming in between now and the end of the game, Rob, is when Hibs turn the ball over. You can see how many bodies Ross County are flooding forward. I think the key players for Hibs become Aidan McGeady and Harry McCurdy. If they can get them into positions in behind the Ross County fullbacks and try and create overloads and really try and stretch that back line of County.
McGeady on the left, McCurdy on the right, Josh Campbell in behind Ellie Ewan, the goal scorer. That's the attacking combination for Hibs. Ball out on the halfway line, right hand side. Ross County trailing by a goal to nil, but certainly a lot more about them in the second half in an attacking sense, and they're again getting themselves into a good area here and threatening the ball on the byline for White to fire it into the middle. Blocked and cleared, and there were plenty of bodies waiting for that from a County point of view.
Yeah, again, they work into a decent position. I think it was it Eamon Brophy, it might have been, that picks up on that right hand side. There was a slight claim for a penalty, but I thought that Paul Hanlon done really well, positioned himself in the front area, and it looked as if it came off his thigh, and we play on. So yeah, situations that Hibs are going to have to defend in this second half. They're going to have to position themselves well, and at times defend their penalty box, no doubt about it.
They're suddenly having defending to do from open play, aren't they, which wasn't really an issue first half.
Yeah, I think just with the nature of the bodies that Ross County are prepared to put inside the penalty area, it makes a decision for the Hibs team to drop off at times, Rob, and also the fact that midfielders may have to track runners and double up in that penalty box. But so far they've done it relatively well, but I still think they'll carry a threat on the counter-attack with the pace and the ability that they have in the front three.
Another goal at Cove for Tyrone.
Yeah, it's looking like it's game over here at the Balmoral Stadium now, with Ayr United doubling their advantage. The ball was played in from the left-hand side. It eventually found its way to Depot Akanyemi. He had the easiest of tasks, just to lash it into the net from a yard out to make it 2-0 now to Ayr United.
2 goals down, 1 man down, and that would seem to be it for Cove Rangers and Ayr United heading into the next round of the Scottish Cup. Still inseparable at Inverness and Queen's Park in the Highland capital. Not too far from here, and Hibs have a 1-0 lead in this only Premiership game of the evening. Much more competitive, you would say, second half, but still Ellie Ewan's goal is the only one as Cadden takes the throw in close to halfway down the right hand side, just in front of his gaffer Lee Johnson. Victor Latourie won the ball, but unfairly, according to Graham Granger. Free kick Hibs for that challenge on Josh Campbell, whose hat-trick on Saturday took his goals tally from that attacking midfield position to 8 so far. A real talent for Hibs. Double back on halfway with Will Fish. Under pressure from White, gets it over the top of Harman. A miscued clearance by Iacovitti. It's into the middle for Ewan. Lays it back towards McGeady. His shot blocked. Still not cleared. It's Ewan again trying to fashion a goal-scoring opportunity. He's messed up in the end. It's gone behind for the goal kick. Ross County survive.
Yeah, all sorts going on there. Initially, a poor clearance from Alex Iacovitti. Presents the ball inside the penalty area. To Aidan McGeady, gets his effort away. Well blocked by Connor Randall. But as he's on his backside, it falls kindly to Ellie Ewan. And I think Robbie's just got to take it first time. He tries to be too cute and clever and shift it over to his left-hand side. But I can see again Lee Johnson getting frustrated. It's on for the big striker just to take it on first time. And I think he gets an effort clean away at goal.
Randall. Back the ball goes to David Marshall to clear. It's gone up into the night sky. Laturi there when it comes down. A challenge on another challenge on Campbell, which was pretty heavy from Laturi. He's putting himself about off the bench for Ross County, and Graham Granger will be totting up the offences, and the next one might be yellow for the substitute.
I'll tell you, just on Josh Campbell, a player I love to watch. He does a little bit of everything in the middle of the park, doesn't he? He can defend, he goes and competes for those second balls. When we see on Saturday, he goes and gets a hat-trick because the timing he runs forward and the bit of composure is great. He's an excellent young player, really good player.
Lewis Stevenson still powering up and down the left side for Hibs, who look to create here from the left-hand side. Stevenson involved again. In comes the cross from Newell, headed away by Iacovitti. Collected 25 yards out by Jan Danda. And down the right side it goes towards Brophy. Now Callaghan. To Randall. And across the back line with Iacovitti. Stabs the ball forward for White. Good layoff to Simon Murray on the halfway line. He whips it across the pitch towards Danda. Danda looks to work a 1-2. Brophy was being held, but County still have possession with Laturi. And across it goes left side to Harmon, down the line. Danda busy, looking to get on the ball as much as possible and link together these attacking moves for the home team. A goal down, BBC Radio Scotland, 1-0 Hibs. Danda with a cross ball in, lovely flick. Well, it was a great attempt by Brophy, heading away from goal. He tried to just backheel it towards Jordan White. It's gone through instead to David Marshall.
Yeah, awkward ball again to deal with, but Brophy does relatively well. Tries to show a wee bit of imagination to bring his strike partner into the game. He's slightly unlucky, I think, just with that greasy surface and a little bit of wind behind their back. It just gets away from him. But again, Ross County will be more positive. The front four, if you like, of White, Brophy, Simon Murray and Jan Danda starting to link up again.
Certainly, if they can create some chances, they do have the players to finish things off, County. The ball worked across towards Harmon, but there was too much on the pass, and it always looked against the left back to get on the end of that. Hibs have a throw-in just about on the halfway line. On target at the moment, Lee Johnson's team to overhaul Livingston and go fourth in the Premiership, but there's plenty of football to be played here. 20 minutes plus stoppage time still remaining, as Stevenson again fires forward from the left-hand side. Real power, determination, desire. The ball is clipped in from the left-hand side by McGeady, and down goes Laidlaw, clattering into the post in the process as he grabbed that cross.
Yeah, he tidied it up well. It was pretty awkward for him to take. I think the intended target was Harry McCurdy at the back post, and it just came off the outside Aidan McGeady's left foot. But Ross Laidlaw done well just to gather it at the front post. But like you say, maybe a bit of a knock in the process off that near post.
Randall to Watson. And Iacovitti. Harmon's on the move down the left-hand side. He's the target for the ball from Iacovitti, but well, he stopped and started a couple of times there, George Harmon, thinking, I'm not going to get that. Think, oh, maybe I will.
Yeah.
And finally he didn't.
Just as I mentioned, Rob, at the start of the second half, you have to play that extra pass. I'm thinking about Alex Iacovitti. He has a nice enough left foot, but he's got to try and play into his two midfielders. He's got to try and find Jan Danda to try and link those attacks. If you go forward just one ball and try to get in behind, the one's just going to keep taking out of play. George Harmon and Conor Randall, willing runners, but as I say, the flight of the ball's wrong for them to try and secure it in the final third.
Finally, a goal in Inverness, Ailey.
Yeah, would you believe it? 73 minutes finally, and it's gone the way of the visitors. It was Dom Thomas just inside the box, a bit of a mix-up, I think, at the back. It was Danny Devine and trying to get the ball out to Wallace Duffy. He wasn't able to get there, and then Thomas just nipping in, opening the scoring. So it's Inverness, Cali, Thistle 0, Queen's Park 1.
Well, no Simon Murray for Queen's Park, but they do have Dom Thomas and his goal pointing them towards Scottish Cup progress. Time though for Inverness to come back as Danda wins the ball really well against Cadden on the halfway line. He's driving forward now. What can County do from here? It's out wide towards Brophy on the byline, clipped in and headed behind by Joe Newell. Well, they could have done more with that, Ross County.
Yeah, another promising situation. Eamon Brophy down the left-hand side this time. Good interception to turn that initial attack over from Hibs from Jan Danda. Feeds it into the wide area. But again, Joe Newell doing his job defensively. Covers that front area, puts it behind, but allows Ross County now to bring the centre-backs forward. And the obvious threat of the likes of Jordan White inside the penalty box.
Those 500 Hibs fans behind David Marshall's goal, looking for their team to defend this. Corner kick left-hand side for Ross County. In from Danda! And it's gone in, it's gone all the way. I don't think there was a touch on that in the middle. It's whipped in with loads of pace, and Ross County's number 10 has levelled things up in Dingwall with 17 minutes to go. It's 1-1.
Quite incredible. It looks as if it goes straight in from the corner. Danda has that wicked delivery in his right foot. It looked as if it was right on top of David Marshall. He's claiming for a foul. I actually thought, Robin, first view, it might have been his own defender that kind of impedes him and just gets across his eye line. And we know there'll be a check on it, but I don't think that there's a case to answer there. Wicked delivery, as I say, from the attacking midfielder, and it gets Ross County back in level terms.
Jan Danda's second goal for Ross County has them level with Hibs, and the gamble of throwing plenty of attacking players on the pitch pays off for County. It was a great delivery from the corner, but Hibs will certainly be mounting an inquiry about how that could have been allowed to have gone directly in, and maybe the answer is a collision between goalkeeper and a couple of defenders as they got in each other's way, and the ball ends up in the back of the net. But is the goal going to stand? Graham Granger is still delaying the kickoff as VAR examines what exactly happened there. Still Hibs wait. So a possible foul in the goal mouth is what's being looked at the moment. And nothing happening too quickly. Goal given. The goal stands. And it's 1-1 here with 15 minutes to go.
Yeah, and I think the 15 minutes we've got to play, Rob, I think we're going to see a few more of those types of deliveries. Whipped in on top of the goalkeeper, wind at Ross County's back. I thought, as I say, in the first viewing that there was maybe a collision between defender and goalkeeper, and it certainly seems the officials have seen it that way as well, and we've got a proper game on our hands now.
Hibs are going to make a change. Another goal at Balmoral, Tyrone.
Yeah, it really is game over now here. It's now Cove Rangers 0, A United 3. Sam Ashford, the man getting his name on the score sheet for the honest men with a powerful, low-angled effort. So with 13 minutes left here at the Balmoral Stadium, it's now Cove Rangers 0, A United 3.
Yeah, Ayr United heading through in the Scottish Cup, convincingly so. Queen's Park are a goal up in Inverness. Enough time for Cali Thistle to do something about that scoreline, but game gone for Cove Rangers. Been that way for a while. Game on here in Dingwall in the Premiership. 1-1 Ross County and Hibs. Fish plays it forward from a free kick. Harmon stumbles, but down goes Harry McCurdy as well, losing his footing, claiming he was clipped.
Rob, I think he was about 5 yards away from George Harmon when he threw himself to the ground. Again, I don't know if there was contact as he passes the defender, but certainly by the time he fell down, I don't think there was any contact at that moment.
It would have been one of the strangest trips in Scottish football history, because George Harmon was so far away from him. It was an ambitious appeal, I have to say, from him, but it was never going to be upheld. County going to make a couple of changes. There's activity from Hibs as well. Cancola and Sims are coming on for the home team as Malky Mackay uses his bench. Eamon Brophy is coming off, Ross Callaghan's coming off.
Yeah, again, almost a like for like in the way that Ross County have set up. I know it's Sims is a wide player coming on for a striker, but he'll occupy a wide area, and I think Cancola will just go and slot in beside Laturi in the middle area of the park. But I don't think it changes the approach in any sense, Rob. I still think they're going to have that 4 attack-minded players trying to keep themselves up the park and occupy Hibs defenders.
Josh O'Connor, the 18-year-old, is coming on again, did so on Saturday, and the Hibs fans are going to get their first look at the newly signed CJ Egan Riley, who's on loan from Burnley, the 20-year-old defender. So he's on, O'Connor's on, as Hibs look to get themselves back in front, having led for a long time. But a long ball has almost found its way through to Jordan White for Ross County. It was almost reminiscent of that long ball which produced Hibs' goal in the first half. Hibs got it away in the nick of time. Just for a moment you wondered if it was going to bounce perfectly through for White. But here come County. On the attack, it's Conor Randall making a really good run into the central area. In comes the cross ball. Oh, what a chance for Josh Sims. Just off the bench, and had he got a better header, it would have been his first touch.
Yeah, and it's the two substitutes that combine. Cancola receives it right-hand side of the box, stands up a lovely little cross, and for all the world it looks as if Sims should make a better contact. I think he's trying to generate too much power when really just needs to guide it back on the target. An opportunity miss for Ross County, but just before it, Rob, Egan Riley that's come in making his debut for Hibs. It's brilliant cover, because Jordan White was a menace again off the shoulder of the two centre-backs, but the young full-back just covers round and averts the danger.
Yeah, that was certainly a timely intervention from the substitute, and then another of the substitutes with a golden opportunity to turn this game on its head. Great bit of ball winning from Victor Laturi from County, and now he's running with the ball down the right-hand side, right on the touchline. It's a fantastic bit of play from the County man, and finally he was halted, and the referee is wanting a word here.
I would just like the referee to let the game breathe. You know, it's starting to really spark into life again. Victor Laturi does brilliant, turns the ball over, drives forward, and then I think it's Josh Campbell that intercepts it and the game goes back the other way. Didn't see a great deal in it. I think the referee just has to allow the game to go. Both teams going hard at it, trying to win a game of football.
Yeah, a bit over officious. Looked like he was wanting to speak to somebody there, but he just wanted the free kick taken from the right place by Laidlaw, who thumps it forward, and it's headed away by Will Fish. Keith Watson in the centre circle, his header flicked on by Iacovitti. Looked promising for a moment, but it gets away from Jordan White through to Marshall. Both these teams will have a go at turning 1 point into 3 as we go into the last 10 minutes. 1-1 in Dingwall. Egan Riley with the pass inside. Forward it goes from Josh Campbell to Harry McCurdy. Egan Riley continues the run down the right side, clips a good ball in as well, and it's cleared, and it's going to spin behind off the boot of Keith Watson. So pretty impressive introduction to the game this from the on loan Burnley man.
Yeah, he slotted in at right back. I know he can play as a right centre back as well, but looks really comfortable down that right hand side. He's defended well on one occasion, and just there, as you say, he gets on the overlap and puts in a pretty decent cross, and that's a question of Keith Watson in the front post area.
So this Hibs corner kick is on the right hand side. County 1, Hibs 1. Joe Newell fires in the corner kick, and it's a real disappointment. Far too close to the goalkeeper, just catching practice for Laidlaw. And as he tries to clear, Harry McCurdy was right in front of him to block that clearance. And it's going to be a yellow card for the Hibs player, And a free kick at the edge of the box for Ross County.
It's a silly one, isn't it? You're always going to get punished for it. He tries to nick it out the goalkeeper's hands as he's floating up to kick it and try and start the counter-attack. But maybe that's not a bad one, Rob, in a sense. Ross County get Sims and the likes of Murray breaking forward.
Let's go back to Ailey in Inverness.
Yeah, it's another goal here at the Caledonian Stadium, and it is for the visitors again, who double their lead. This time it was a substitute, Scott Williamson. It was Danny Devine at the back. He was trying to head back to Ridgers and goal, but Williamson nipping in and able to net the second from close range. It's Inverness, Cally, Thistle 0, Queen's Park 2.
Conor Randall here for Ross County, weaving inside and out, right hand side. Laturi had the ball rolled back to him, his cross blocked. He really didn't catch it, but the ball goes out for a throw-in on the right hand side. David Cancola is preparing to take this. 7.5 minutes of regulation time remaining. Ross County, having equalised, sense the chance to put another 3 points on the board if they can strike again. It's Cancola's throw in towards White, headed away by Stevenson. Now with Danda threading it through. Jordan White couldn't control it. The clearance goes high. White tries to get it down. Hibs force it out on the far side. It's going to be another Ross County throw. The home team looking the more likely at the moment to find a winner.
Yeah, they are. They're certainly piling on the pressure. They've got territorial advantage, but Hibs been brave in their approach as well, Rob, with young O'Connor coming on, and they've went to a 4-4-2, but as it stands, not really able to get the two strikers involved in this period of time for Hibs.
Jordan White is off for Ross County, striker for striker, because it's going to be Josh Stones, the youngster on loan from Wigan. Malky Mackay hoping he can have an influence in these closing minutes. So it's going to be Murray and Brophy and Stones as the attacking trio for the home team. And it's 1-1 with just about 6 minutes to go, then stoppage time. The ball is at the back for County with Harmon on the halfway line, spins away from McCurdy, rolls it through for Laturi. Alongside him is Murray. They're looking really positive at the moment. County looking as if they can create something, and it comes from Sims. The flying header away from Will Fish. And the ball ends up being headed out of play by Watson on the far side. Hibs will have a throw. And wonder if Hibs would settle for a point at this stage.
I think as it stands just now, they probably would. Lee Johnson, as I say, brave in his approach, putting on another striker, but it's not really been effective so far. And just as this second half has played out, Rob, I think they probably would at this stage be happy with a point, but I'm going to go back to it. They still have players on the park at any given moment can create a chance, so they'll still keep probing, they'll still keep asking questions of the back four of Ross County.
Ross County certainly have got attacking threat, much more so at the moment.
Both teams are almost playing a 4-2-4 formation, you know. You don't often see it with the wide players high and wide, and those two strikers straight through the middle. It's quite interesting.
Keith Watson back to Laidlaw. Forward it goes from the goalkeeper, helped on by Murray. Josh Sims tried to get there, but he was late with his challenge, and the free kick goes against him. The free kick 15 yards inside the Hibs half. They were ahead through Eli Yuan, and the equaliser scored direct from a corner kick by Jan Danda. Is it going to be a point apiece for these two on the back of big wins at the weekend? Or can 1 point be transformed into all three? The back heel from Yuan, in from McGeady, but didn't really get the contact on it he was after, and it swerves wide and then behind for the County goal kick. Ross Laidlaw to take this. And we're 3.5 minutes of the 90 remaining. The home team on the back of that 3-0 win here against Kilmarnock at the weekend. It took them the previous 8 games to score 3 goals, and they managed it in 190 minutes at the weekend.
Yeah, I think they'll be positive in the 3 goals, as you mentioned, on Saturday, but also getting themselves back into the game tonight. I think prior to tonight, I think they were 18 goals all season in the 23 games played. So it's important that they start finding the back of the net. They'll be disappointed with the one they concede, Rob, no doubt about that. But you just have a look at the options they now have in the forward area. You think that they've got a chance to score goals.
Sims chasing. And back it goes from Egan Riley for Marshall to clear. Victor Laturi is there for Canty. His pass chested down by Danda, flicks it towards Stones at the edge of the box. It's good pressure from Ross County. They've won it back in the midfield. Laturi is there, and Cancola. Victor Laturi again. It's good play. Stones involved. Harman playing the sort of football that Hibs were producing first half. Harman to Iacovetti. It's an up and under from him. Up goes Stones. Egan Riley got his head to it, and again the new man for Hibs. Down from Cancola to Harman on the halfway line. McCurdy is all over him. Well, he's been booked already, Harry McCurdy, and he's maybe treading a dangerous path. Ross County were trying to take a quick free kick, and the referee wants to call it back and have it retaken, and the home fans getting a little restless.
I think he's got it wrong, Rob. It's Cancola that tries to take the free kick quick. The 4th official, I think, is trying to indicate that the ball might have still been rolling. If it was, I think it's marginal. But he set off Simon Murray down that right-hand side, ball dropping over the top of Lewis Stevenson's head, and it's a great opportunity for Ross County. No wonder Malky Mackay's frustrated that the referee brings it back.
That 4th official, certainly Christopher Dice is getting serious earache down there from the county manager. Here's the free kick. Danda fires it in, skims off the head of Egan Riley, and behind for the corner kick. A free kick at this stage could be very interesting with just a minute of the 90 left.
I think Ross County are going to go at that same ploy, in-swinger this time. George Harman with his left foot, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him piling this one on top of David Marshall again, with the likes of Keith Watson, Alex Iacovetti piling into that 6-yard box.
They've already struck gold from a corner kick, Canty. Here comes one on the other side. Harman delivers. Hibs get it away. Laturi at the edge of the box. Hibs will look to break. And McCurdy hauled down. And it's a yellow card for the challenge that stopped him in his tracks. But it was certainly a yellow card worth taking because the green shirts were flooding forward.
It was. I don't think he'll be too disappointed with that one. McCurdy was shifting the ball out his feet and looked as if he was going to travel into space into the Ross County half. So a pretty clever yellow card, I think, for the young midfielder to take. Just allows them to set their shape again behind the ball.
Paul Hanlon will take this free kick for Hibs. 4 minutes are going to be added to the 90. That's where we are right now. 4 minutes to go. Ross County 1, Hibs 1. BBC Radio Scotland. Is there going to be a winner? Marshall to Fish. Back goes Stones with him. The pass goes astray. Iacovetti to Danda. Now Harman. Left-hand side for Ross County. Plenty of targets further forward. A crossfield ball from Iacovetti goes astray. Randall tries to win it back. He does. He helps out Laturi. The home team have possession. Victor Laturi picks it up again from Keith Watson. Flights one down the middle. Sims and Stones are there. Danda trying to support. Sims gets a touch. Stones rolls it back. Cancola can roll it out wide for Conor Randall. Randall back inside. Oh, it's given away. It's a really... Well, you can hear the frustration around us. A disappointing pass from Conor Randall. County had worked it into a really good position.
Got a bit of a set to between Jan Danda and Campbell. Both sets of players, Rob, they want it, but I can't understand why Conor Randall doesn't throw the ball into the box. Ross County have got 4 or 5 targets flooding into the area, and he plays a negative square pass and it's cut out.
Fortunately for him, he's on the other side. Otherwise, he'd be hearing all about it from Malky Mackay on this side. So it's going to be a Hibs free kick. David Marshall fires it forward. Can Hibs find a way late on? They've been a shadow in the second half of the team they were in the first, but they have the sort of players who, if they get a chance, could find a late winner in Dingwall, although time is beginning to disappear inside stoppage time, and almost there. Ross County 1, Hibs 1. Throw in for Hibs, far side, left-hand side. Lewis Stevenson to take this. It's intercepted by Laturi in the middle. He's done really well since coming off the bench. He's had an influence. Keith Watson's header forward up towards the halfway line. Fish for Hibs. Plays it down the right side towards McCurdy. McCurdy against Harman. And, well, he's all hustle and bustle, Harry McCurdy, but sometimes lacks something in the way of finesse, and at the moment he's getting involved in a bit of a dust-up there, having had the ball screened from him by Harman as it went behind. And he's being escorted away from the scene at the moment. Hibs will be concerned that he picks up a second yellow. Much ado about nothing, really, wasn't it?
You're absolutely right. There was nothing in it whatsoever. Players getting round it, making an incident out of nothing. George Harman, good defending, manages to shepherd the ball out of play, goes behind for a goal kick, and you're thinking that both sets of players just carry on and go and see if they can find a winner, especially for Ross County. Ross Laidlaw's now been yellow carded as well for getting involved, so it just kills a bit of time and almost takes this one to the 94th minute, Rob, where it's going to be honours even.
Goal kick, Ross County. Ross Laidlaw thumps it forward. Is there going to be one late chance? Well, back it comes towards the Ross County goal. Well, Keith Watson got lucky there because he had a swing and a miss, and was able to scramble it away in the end. It was almost a late gifted opportunity for Hibs. The ball pinging back and forth as both these teams chase a winner, but there will be no winner forthcoming, because that is the final whistle in Dingwall, and the two teams who won so well at the weekend have to settle for a point here. Hibs were dominant in the first half, played a lot of good football, went in front through Ellie Yuan after Jack Baldwin's mistake. The ball down the middle, and the header was never going to find its way back to goalkeeper Laidlaw. In nipped the Frenchman to fire Hibs in front. Ross County threw a lot at it second half, introduced Simon Murray, the new signing, to augment what they had already up front. Both teams ended up playing 4-2-4 at times. County certainly created a whole lot more in open play second half, but their equaliser came from a set piece. It was a corner kick. It was whipped in from the left-hand side by Jan Danda, and it went over everyone and into the far corner of the net as David Marshall got caught in a ruck of players in the 6-yard box, couldn't get gloves on it, and it went in beyond them for the goal that won a point for Ross County. It's a point that gets them out of that four-way tie, as was for bottom spot in the Premiership. They go on to 21. Hibs on to 31 points. They stay a point behind Livingston. They are in 5th place in the Premiership. A lively night in Dingwall ends. Ross County 1, Hibs 1.
On digital radio.